here again with another episode of the Detox Podcast, episode 303 to be exact. If you're new here, enjoy music, podcast, comedy, hooping videos, etc., please hang out with us, like and subscribe. We've got a whole bunch of that stuff going on around here. When you do subscribe or hang out with us like you're going to do today in the live chat, it helps us share conversations and laughs like this with more people. So do consider doing that. It helps us out a ton. Now, before I can introduce you guys to my guest this week and get into a lot of interesting things, I got to talk to you guys a little bit about vacations. It's that time of the year. Seasons are changing. It's starting to get, I mean, it doesn't look like it today if you're in Wisconsin specifically, but it is starting to get nicer outside. And everybody deserves a vacation, quick little getaway, whether it's just you and a significant other or you and the whole fam. You deserve it, and there's no better place to enjoy that than with Alpine House 2, today's video sponsor. Alpine House 2 is a classic Swiss chalet duplex A-frame with a log cabin interior located directly across the street from, well, you won't be using it this time of year, but the Ski Relay Resort in Iron River, Michigan, which is a super famous ski resort. If you haven't heard of it, you should look it up. It's beautiful. It's literally directly across the street. But otherwise, it's also surrounded by lakes, forests, rivers, more specifically Iron River, and it's the destination for fishing, hunting, hiking, all that good stuff. They've been pretty steadily booked up, I will say, on Airbnb for the weekends. And now in this like seasonal change, you might be able to snag a couple of weekend dates if that works better for you. Otherwise, they are open the rest of the week. Feel free to reach out to them. Tell them Darren, Rita, Detox sent you. They're going to set you up with a great vacay. That's at Alpine House 2 on Instagram. One last time, that's at ALPINEHAUS number 2 on Instagram. To stay up to date with other renovations, bookings, and more, check out at Alpine House 2 on Instagram today. Shout out to them for sponsoring another episode of the show. Now, with all that good stuff out of the way, I'm excited to be kicking it with my guest this week. She's one of the owners of a mental health empowering clothing brand. Let's give a wet detox welcome to Marianne from Simple Soulz Apparel.
Hi.
You're here.
Yes,
What's
I
going
am.
on? Speaking of, like, I'm bringing up the seasons, and it's, you know, we're going to be talking mental health today. Are you seasonally depressed? Are you a seasonally depressed person?
Sometimes I am. In the wintertime, I don't notice it, but like I do, like I nap a lot, and like I don't know if that's seasonal depressed or like what it is, but like when it's summertime, I blossom.
How's your mental health on like a rainy day, like a crappy rainy day? Do you like that? Some people
I
are
love
into
it.
That. I'm into it too.
I love the rain. I nap if I could when I'm at work. No, I hate it because I'm at work now.
Yeah. No, I don't mind it. It's actually like sometimes I I love summertime. Like I need to be in the sun. Like I really, really do feel myself. Sometimes I don't notice how maybe, I guess, depressed. I wouldn't say like I'm like having a depressive episode, but like down you are during the winter until like those first like couple of 70-degree days, and I get in the sun and I'm like, oh, I love this shit. But every once in a while when you get in like a span and it's all nice, like it's so nice out for so long, I'm like, dude, I want it to rain a little bit. I want an excuse to stay in. I don't want to feel guilty if I got to go sit in front of my computer for a few hours, or I want to watch a movie. I love a good rainy day. But we're gonna be talking a lot about mental health today. We're gonna be talking. Obviously, you got the clothing brand. I know, and our audience doesn't know this, but you majored in psychology in college.
Yes, psychology with 2 minors: women and gender studies and sociology.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What are like the stereotypes of most psych majors?
That we're know-it-alls.
Are you?
We like to read people's minds.
Do you think you are?
I definitely am.
Yeah.
I feel like I know everything.
Okay, read my mind. Let's see. What do you think I'm thinking right now? I've met real mind readers.
Have
mind
you?
We've had them on the show. Yeah, America's greatest mind reader, actually.
Oh wow!
Shout out Joe Diamond. he's listening somewhere maybe. Yeah. No. What do you? Is that hard for you to turn off then? Because you're like, you know, you studied this for 4 years.
Yeah.
When you're like in relationships with coworkers or friendships or family members, whatever, is that hard to like shut off and be like, I need to just be in this moment and not like psychoanalyze somebody?
Yeah, I think it is hard because every time I'm talking to someone, I'm always like, why did you do that? Or why? I need to know the reason why. So I think it helps though. Like I feel like it helps me a lot. I feel like I'm always like, when I'm talking to coworkers, family, especially my friends, like when they're telling me their problems, I'm always like, well, why? Like, ask yourself why, like, put yourself in those shoes. And I feel like a lot of my friends hate that because I'm not like, you are so right.
Yeah. People do hate that. I will say, like, that's one thing I've had to get better at as a friend because I'm similarly to you. I'm always like, if you tell me a problem is going on, I'm going to genuinely listen to the situation and I'm going to ask actual questions. I'm not just going to go, yeah, fuck them. Yeah, fuck her, dude. She's so wrong. I'm gonna ask you questions. You might be right in the end. We might get to that, but I'm not just gonna sit there and be like, yeah, gang, like let's do it. Like you're total slay. Everything you said is slay. We're good. I'm gonna ask some tougher questions. People don't really like that sometimes. So you gotta. ask sometimes if people want advice or if they just need somebody to vent to.
Yeah.
I've found is like a skill I've had to learn. But okay, so you're always reading people. Do you ever like read people incorrectly then because of that?
I don't think so. I'm highly confident in myself. I feel like I do a great job. The problem is I hate being readed.
Read it. Yeah.
Well,
that was crazy.
yeah.
That was crazy right there.
I feel like when my fiance always like asks me why, like, oh, he's not like, fuck you, like blah blah blah, I get mad at him.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you should be just on my side. Like, don't ask me why.
Yeah. See? Exactly. Why do you think you want to know the why all the time? Why?
I don't know. It's like,
that's bullshit, bro.
I don't know.
You can't be coming at people asking them why, and you can't tell me why you want to know the why.
I don't know. I think it's because I want to get more tea.
You want more tea?
I want
okay,
more tea,
yeah. That's maybe
I just want to know, why do you think like that? Like, how are you as a person? I think that's why I'm always asking why. Like,
yeah.
If it's a situation about like my boyfriend, I'm like, okay, well, what did they do? Like, what did you do to them to make them do that? And I think a lot of my friends don't like that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's just good. It sounds like you're just curious. You want context, or in your case, tea, as you would word it. Yeah. What's something like, there's a joke online whenever like people that are going to school to be a therapist or going to school for psychology, whenever they're sad or down, people are like, bro, how are you depressed? Look at your notes. So like, what's something that you've had to learn or unlearn in like, or that maybe clicked for you when you were studying, that you were like, oh, I never thought. Did you ever like have an epiphany moment that maybe a professor said something or you were doing something in a textbook and you're like, yeah, that makes sense?
I think it was in my sociology class. So for sociology and psychology, the only reason why I minored in soc was because they're the same thing. It's just not, psych is more the mind and sociology is more your environment.
Yeah.
And I think it was we were reading this one story about this girl, and like basically the whole story just rooted back to her environment. And like my professor was just like a lot of people get shaped by their environment. And I guess I never thought about that. Like, I never thought about where people grew up. Like, they might see something differently than me, and like why people might have like so many different opinions about everything. Like, people are always like, well, I grew up this way, so that's how I think. And I just always think like back to that professor, like him just saying like, oh, environment, your family especially shapes you. And it's like, it's sad, and like it's like very interesting to see how like if someone from like, not like the difference between like a wealthy and poor family, like it's so different to see like someone like that didn't grow up with money, like how they think compared to someone that grew up with a bunch of money.
Definitely, yeah. And their relationship with money specifically, or their relationship with their peers, or with like, definitely that could be super almost jarring. And when you become like sort of a young adult into adulthood, like teenager to young adulthood, is like you sort of, those things kind of become more present. Because when you're like in grade school, you don't know the difference between the rich kids and like the poor kids, other than maybe sometimes, and I was one of the poor kids, is like maybe we smell a little worse sometimes. I don't know. Like, I just, it is what it is. But it's like you can't tell the difference, right?
No.
Like, you guys are all just kids playing. You just play on the playground. You're playing football in recess. You're playing tag, whatever. It's like you get into that like high school realm, and like some kids pull up with like a brand new Jeep, and you're like, oh, like they go out every day, and then your parents are like, no, you want to go to B-dubs, you want to go get McDonald's on the weekend, you got to work, dude.
Yep.
And so you start to get faced with that, and then I don't know, it bleeds into other things too. But yeah, that's interesting. So sort of you getting that and like learning about other people's environments almost gave you a way. It sounds like a curiosity into like almost like being more empathetic.
Yes, it definitely did. I feel like when I'm talking to different people, and that's why one reason why I like majored in psych is because there are some interesting people in this world, and I feel like not enough people realize that, and like not enough people, there's just so many cliques in this world. Like, people stick to who they stick to, and like who they are as a person or who they want to be, they stick with that person. So I think that's like, especially in high school, I was a very talkative person. My parents always got emails, and Marian's always talking in class. And I think that's really sparked me, because anytime a teacher moved me to a new student, even if it's like the weird, like emo kid, oh, I talked to them, didn't care. Like, if you were going to talk back to me, I'll talk to you. And I think that's what really intrigued me about psych, because it's just, there's so many different people in this world.
Yeah.
And like environment, family, friends, like who you're around constantly really shapes you.
What's a clique that intrigues you? What's like a clique you think is maybe misunderstood by the general population? Like a group of people. Like I know for a fact we interviewed a furry a long time. It's one of my favorite podcasts I've ever done, actually. And furries, I think, are generally it's an interesting and weird thing, and they will admit that it's a totally weird phenomenon. But these people, they love this thing. They have a lot of fun. It's really positive. I would say 99% of it. And then people focus on like the kind of the weird stuff about it. They 100% of the time, which is weird. And so I would say like they're in my eyes, a misunderstood clique. What's a clique that maybe you've seen that's like...
I would definitely say the same thing. Like, I feel like the weirder kids, or like what people describe them as, like if you talk to them, they're probably the nicest people, like genuine people you will ever probably meet. And it's like just seeing their look, like it's like being a furry. Like being a furry, that's definitely a weird thing.
Oh yeah.
But it's like that's what you enjoy so much. Like that's like why do you enjoy? Like that's so unique and
I
like
just
different.
Can't stand, and I can't stand people that just pretend that like they're not weird.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know anybody that's not weird. I've never met somebody that's not fucking weird, dude. Like I'm weird as shit. Like I sit across from strangers every week on this show, and I invite them into a room with a bunch of like thousands of dollars worth of Legos. I'm a grown man, like what am I doing? Like someone could say that's weird. And I have other friends that'll, I don't know. I just think like maybe in learning stuff about this, or people taking the time to, if you have enough empathy within you, like you can see that like we're all a little weird.
Yes.
Like you can be just a little less judgmental. I'm never going to sit here and tell you that being a furry is not weird. It's weird, man. It's also weird to spend an ungodly amount of money on Legos, which I do, which is weird. So it's like everything is weird. You're a business owner. To a lot of people, that's weird, man. They don't, and maybe not weird in like they're not having it with like this negative connotation, but it's different. They're not used to it. They have no idea how that works. They don't know how to wear that hat. And so it might be weird to somebody else. And speaking of the business, right? Speaking of, we got it's Simple Soulz Apparel.
Yes.
I know you've told me a little bit off air that this is a project with you and your mom are involved. Mom's not here today.
She does say hi, though.
She does say hi. Hi, Mom. If you're watching, hi, Mom. We're representing for Mom today.
Yes, we are.
Like what we're talking about, you went to school for psych. We're talking, obviously, you own a business now, a clothing line. How did those things intertwine, and where does Mom come into play?
It started around, I think my junior year. I knew like for sure I wanted to go into psychology. In college, I knew I wanted to be a counselor. Wasn't sure what type of counselor. I was picking between so many different things: drug and abuse, marriage and family.
How do you pick? That's something I've always wondered. When people are like, "Man, I really want to get into drug and abuse, man," or "I want to get into marriage." Like, what pulls you? What was like speaking to you in each one of these things?
I think just with like drug and abuse, like I've always I love helping people. And it's just sad to see, like, especially in this world, there's so many, like, drug addicts and, like, just on the street, and, like, even, like, just driving past in Milwaukee, just seeing them. And I'm just like, ugh, like, if there's, like, some way, somehow I can help you, like, why not do it? So that's one reason that it pulled me to drug and abuse. Yeah. Marriage and family, I mean, I think it was, like, 2018, just everyone's parents just started getting divorces.
It did become kind of popular. It's kind of trendy.
Yeah, it is trendy now. And it's just like seeing my friends and like just hearing different stories, like how hurt like people are from that. And that pulled me to marriage and family. And I'm like, oh, if I can just help couples like just talk it out, like that's really what relationship is, just communication.
You had like a pull for you. The pull was like you would see a problem that was maybe pretty severe, and that was like you just had like some pull in you that was like, all right, I have to do something about this.
And that's how it drawed me to sports psychology. My senior year, I've been an athlete my whole life. My whole family has. So like just sports mentally like draining, and just like realizing that my senior year was like, okay, I want to do sports. I want to help athletes, like help them be heard. And like, how can I do that? And like, I didn't even know sports psychology was a thing until like my senior
I didn't know it until today. So that's,
So like, it's just so interesting how like people don't realize like athletes go through more than just like having a bad game. It's not just like, I forgot the term of it, but there's like this, for pitchers, it's like this mental block. Like I saw this TikTok actually yesterday of like this catcher. she can only like walk the ball up to the pitcher. She couldn't throw it, but she can throw it to everyone else. It's just like a mental block in them. Like that's like, it's not talked enough.
Yeah, performance anxiety is huge.
Yes.
I'm sure we'll definitely double back to that today, because I know I've got stories of friends of mine, stories from my own experience that we'll definitely get into that. And that there's so many things that shape that when it comes to environment that you're being coached in or playing in and stuff, and the specific sports and stuff like that. Okay, so you're picking that. So you pick that as what you're gonna sort of specialize in, and then how soon after like you graduate. And why are we doing clothing? Like, why are we here doing clothes?
When COVID happened, I've always been a huge hobbyist. I've had over 20 hobbies, and I've always loved apparel. I've always loved like mental health and just faith-based stuff. And my senior year, I knew I wanted to have my own like practice, like having like, but just having also like apparel to be able for people to express their emotions and like how they're feeling on a shirt. Like it doesn't, and like I just been seeing so many corny like mental health shirts that I'm just like, yeah, this is awful. And then I think it was around summertime, I got my friend's Cricut, and I was doing our groomsmen, me and my fiance's groomsmen windbreakers, and he wanted to put their last names on it, and like, you know, teen Carpenter last name, and I was just like, well, we're not going to spend $100 for one windbreaker. So got my friend's Cricut, learned how to do it, realized like I love this, and like this is how I can make shirts. Like I've always thought about like how can I make shirts, and I never knew Cricut was a thing until last summer. Yeah,
dude, they're amazing. Shout out Cricut. Dude, I actually, part of me really badly wants to get up right now. I have my favorite pair of shorts that I own are these shorts that I stole from my college. They were just plain blue soccer shorts. And I put my logo on one side, and then I put Fortnite Balenciaga on the back. And I think that's probably why we need to, like, people always joke online. They're like, not everybody needs a podcast. We need to, like, make podcast equipment more expensive because they make fun of people like me or whatever. Maybe we need to put some tariffs on the Crickets, dude, because possibly. I shouldn't be allowed to do that, dude. That's too much power for a person like me. It is,
especially like I just sit there one day and I'm just like, I just want to write like F you on a shirt and like walk around in the store one day and just wear it.
Yeah, you should. Or just
I probably should.
Or just like put people you don't like. Just put like their full government name.
Full government and their
nothing
Instagram
else.
handle.
Yeah, just nothing else. Just their full government name and just walk around Walmart with that on.
I probably should, because there's some things I'm just like, I want to like say, I don't want to say it to you, but I want you to see it on my shirt though at the same time.
I love when the guys, they go to the mall and like they'll like, especially it's always GameStop employees that get the most worked up. I don't know if you've ever seen these videos. They'll go in, they'll like snap a pic of the guy from GameStop, then they'll go to like the kiosk of the guy like doing the DTF printing, and they'll get it printed on the shirt, and then they'll go back in and like try to return a game or something. The guy's like, what the fuck is that? Like, you gotta do some shit like that, dude.
I probably should.
But mental health related, positive somehow. In some way we make it positive.
Yes,
you know?
Of course.
All right, so you get the Cricut though, and you're working. You're figuring out how to do that. You make these windbreakers, and then how long until we get a business, or what's the catalyst for that?
About after I finish the windbreakers, about a month. My mom, she is a disabled Army vet. She's suffered from mental health for over 15 years. PTSD, anxiety, and since I was young, she's always talked about like faith-based shirts. She's always wanted to have like different shirts for herself, because in this world it's expensive now. $60 for a shirt couldn't be me.
What's the big popular? It's like the Fear of God brand is like a huge. That's faith-ish related,
yes, it is.
Right?
Yes,
it's like streetwear.
Streetwear, yes. So she's always wanted to have like, I remember like we were talking, and then we were just like, all the faith-based shirts we've seen are just like Jesus. And it's like, whoa, like, you know, some people like, and I feel like a lot of people, our generation has gotten into more faith and like, but like more subtle, like, you know, not like posting every day, or like, that's their whole, like, that's them. Like, just, it's not that anymore. And like, I feel like a lot of people want to wear more faith-based and mental health stuff, but they're like, it's just corny. Like all the stuff out there is corny now. So like, we started talking one day, and I was like, I have the Cricut. Like, maybe we should design something. And, like, we did. And then after that, Simple Soulz just kind of happened.
Wow. That's excellent. Would you guys ever think about collabing with Kanye West? I know he's got, like, you know, he had the Sunday service thing going on for a while. Those shirts, I'm not religious, but I was like, that's hard. I want the OG ones back when, like, I was in high school. I think it was, like, 2016, 2017, the shirts he was popping out with then, those were like faith-based in some way.
They were, yes.
They were awesome. They were awesome. Nowadays, I don't know what he's making that's
Who knows?
not
It's
racist.
Kanye West.
So, yeah,
It's Kanye West.
it is what it is. But okay, so we've got the clothing brand now.
Yes.
What's like, and you're doing mental health, you're doing like faith-based stuff. Like, what's for somebody that maybe is listening and they're like, well, what is that like? What would I put on my body? Like, what would I wear that would be that? Like, what would you say to them? Like, what are the kind of messaging that you like putting on designs?
Yeah, I feel like for our faith-based stuff, we do put a lot of like Bible verses, like very simple ones, just like what the world is going through right now. And like one, we have like, be kind to your mind, and like just like I feel like mental health is not talked about enough, and I feel like people do want to talk about it and like let it become it's not embarrassing, it's not weird to like go to counseling or wear this or wear that. And so we kind of just, for faith-based, we just do like a lot of like scriptures and like different symbols. Like one of our designs is "Are you ready?" like Ephesians, and like on the back it's like "Put on the full armor of God." So like basically like God's with you, like but just put on like your shield and everything. And like obviously there's going to be storms and just different things in your way, but you just got to keep persevering. And like I feel like that's where majority of our designs come from. Like just a lot of like what me and my mom are going through, or just like when I'm talking to my friends or family or whoever, and like they just say something that like just clicks. And I'm just like, that is like very like, they're just like, I like wish I can feel this way, or like this is what I'm going through, like, and it just clicks. And I do a lot of Instagram and TikTok videos, and just seeing like different people's like motivational things they post, because self-care, self-love, like our generation has been really into that now, and like prioritizing ourselves. And I think that's something I try to put on the shirts more, like prioritize yourself. So like self-love is like a big thing for me.
Why do you think it's so important that people have some sort of reminder, or like that they that they go to like or that they support something like this, that's like wearing clothing that has a positive message, or a faith-based message? Like why is it so important to you feel?
I think it's just important to me because like there's so many, you never know what someone's going through. Like you can walk past someone in the store and like their dad just died yesterday, and like just seeing a positive message, like keep going, like can impact a lot of people. I mean, like we've heard like when we're wearing our designs, just like in the store, my mom's wearing it at church, or whatever the case may be, like people are always just like, I look at your design sometimes and I'm just like, wow, like it just brings them back to like whatever they're going through, and they just see that message, and like like no one's telling them like keep going, but they see that message and now they're like, I have to keep going. Like I can't keep going. Like just like little hints. I think that's one like thing we try to put on shirts. It's like these little hints and like little sayings of like,
it's almost like just a reminder, like an omen almost. Like if I was having a bad day and I felt like things weren't going my way, like seeing that could be just the little bit that I needed to maybe go a different direction than the route I was. Maybe I was going to a dark place. That I see that. I definitely understand that. I know you mentioned there mental health is talked about. Or you think mental health isn't talked about enough. It's interesting. As somebody, like, I've definitely like been in the space and been online a lot, so I talk a lot about it, and I have different guests on to talk a lot about it. I think mental health is talked about a lot more now, which is a good thing, I think. But what's something that you don't hear about mental health that you think maybe we should shine some light on? Because I think like it's like blanket statement so many times, like so much with mental health. People are just like, oh, my mental health is bad, or oh, I'm dealing with mental health issues. But like sometimes people don't get into the specifics. What's something that you think specifically we as like a society or people online could maybe focus a little bit more on?
Yeah, I think people just need to focus on like sharing their progress. I feel like people like, so many people, yes, I go to counseling, or mental health, like I am like not in the mental health space, or I'm depressed, but no one talks about like, how did you get out of it? Like no one shares their story of like, oh, I went to a counselor. I like, even if you don't have to go in depth of like, oh, this is what I talked about with my counselor, but just like, how are you doing now? No one talks about the aftermath anymore.
I honestly think it's cool too. I mean, you don't have to give names, specific examples and stuff like that, but I think like, if a lot of times you're right, where it's like people talk about like, oh, my mental health was really bad a couple of years ago, or my mental health is really bad right now, but we don't get into the specifics at all. And I think like it might seem like you're the only person that's going through something, but you're not. No. First off, someone's probably going through the exact same thing, and even if it's not specifically exactly the same, like one man's journey is every man's journey. That's one of my favorite quotes from The Alchemist. And it's like, your struggle to become an entrepreneur and own your own business and a clothing line and go to school for psych and do all these things. Like, I didn't do that, but there's going to be pieces of that journey that I can relate to. So like you sharing that will help me, where it's the same thing where like people don't really talk about the specifics of their mental health, or they don't talk about like any of the work that they're actually doing. They're just like, oh, I go to counseling. It's like, well, yeah, what are you doing in counseling? Though, bro? Like I have friends that have thought about it or are considering it, and I'm very open about it. I'll tell them exactly what I'm doing. I mean, even mentioned right when we started this show that something I've worked on a bunch is not being a problem solver, because it's not my job all the time when someone's venting to me about something to be like, well, what did you really do? Yeah, you know, what can we actually do to fix this? Sometimes you got to ask, like, are you just venting right now, or are we looking for a solution together? You know, and that's something that I've definitely worked on. And I just think I think be more specific when we're talking mental health online. I think that would be a great place to start. And I think also, kind of to your point, is talk about the work that we're actually doing. Like, let's talk about, like, if, for instance, a great example, maybe something we can get into. I'm someone that, like, I have a lot of anger, like I have a lot of resentment, and it's probably a lot of it comes from like trauma and a lot of sadness that doesn't have anywhere to go, so then it turns into anger, and that's something that's like, you don't realize that until you start talking with somebody and you start pointing out the patterns of like, wow, I'm angry about this. Well, I do blow up on people for no reason when it's this, you know, like, and then you boil it down. You when you go to therapy, and the reason I always tell people to go to therapy, I'm not just like, oh, do it for your mental health, because people are like, if they don't really know or understand what's wrong with them, they're gonna hear that and go, what the fuck? What are you saying, man? My mental health. I'm upset. I don't know what this is. But when you tell them, like, dude, like, you're angry, like, you're resentful. That's why you're bitter. That's why you blow up all the time when, like, somebody leaves the socks in the wrong place. That's why you're blowing up right now, you know? And it's like that type of stuff, like learning to let go of that. For me specifically, like, anger is something that people have other issues and whatnot. It's important. It's important to do that. So I think be specific is a great place to start. Yeah. What do you think about triggers, dude? What do you think? This is a big buzz thing that's talked about online. Is trigger warning? Should we have trigger warnings? Should we not have trigger warnings? People being like, I'm triggered about this, or, you know, I saw this person today and it triggered this. Like, how do you feel about triggers in general?
I don't know. I have like a strong opinion, but not at the same time. Like, I feel like I don't really have triggers, so I couldn't really like speak so much on it. Yeah. But maybe I do. Driving, I have bad road rage. I do have triggers. There you go. Yeah. I feel like when people drive so bad, it just sets me off. Yeah. I don't know why, but it's like, I don't know. Like, that's something that I haven't really like dug deep into to like know like the reasoning behind all of that.
What do you feel about there's a big discussion I've seen online recently where it's like, and this is a sort of been my personal take, which might be a hot take on this. I don't think I'm responsible for your triggers that I'm unaware of. If you know what I mean? Like, there's this big movement online where you'll see people that like, they'll go online, they'll come on TikTok, and they'll start ranting about something that happened to them because this thing at the store triggered. This person said hello to them, or asked them like, oh, are you going to, or how's your mom, or how's your dad, and like, you know, they were triggered because some traumatic thing happened with their mom when they were whatever age, and it's like, dude, I don't fucking know that. Or if you ever joked with somebody. I was talking with my friends earlier today about an example where a friend and I were like messing around doing like a rap battle or something. I made a joke about like a sister of his. He didn't have a sister, and then he's like, well, my sister died when I was 5. I'm like, and he gets all fucking sad. And like, yeah, I'm like, don't put that fucking evil on me. Yeah, that's not on me. And he's like, you're supposed to know. Like, I'm not supposed to know that. I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I feel terrible now, but that's not on me. And then like put that on you, or vice versa. Like if you had like like if you had grown up with like alcoholic parents or something, it's not mine or your job if someone else like comes into the room with alcoholic parents. We don't know that they have any type of alcohol related trauma. If we're enjoying ourselves having a drink or whatever, it's not on, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's not on me to read your mind and know your triggers and whatnot. Now, again, if someone tells you and it like expresses that this thing triggers me, obviously respect that. But it's just been this interesting debate online that I've seen where people are like, this thing triggers me, this thing offends me, this thing whatever. And it's like, dude, I will 100% respect you and do whatever you want me to do. Like, I just want people to get along. But if I don't know, I don't know. you know? And I'm just curious what you thought about
I
that.
definitely agree with that wholeheartedly. Like,
Yeah.
so strong. I feel like it happens so many times with my friends in the past. Like, they'll be going through something, or like this happened to them, and like they never told me.
Yeah.
And like if I'm like, texting like, hey, like why aren't you like responding to me, or like getting mad at them for not like, talking to me about anything, or like
Yeah.
something happens and like they just blow up on me, I'm like, well, why don't you just tell me, and I feel like it's different for me because I'm so open, and like
Yeah.
I'll let you know if you piss me off. Like I'll
Sure.
I'll be like, yeah, I don't like you right now, so
Yeah.
don't talk to me.
Yeah.
But like I cannot stand when people like put whatever happened to them, or like I should know that. Like I just met you. Like,
Yeah.
or like I've only known you for like a year. Like
They're
why would
putting
I know that?
Yeah, they're putting their baggage on you, which is like, dude, I'm happy to help carry some. Man.
Yeah.
But if I didn't know, like, you're just throwing your suitcase at the back of my head. How was I supposed to help the situation?
No, that is so true.
You know what I
Like,
mean? Like,
I feel like people, I don't know, like obviously everyone's not open and everyone's
Yeah.
personal, and I get
Yeah.
that. But like if there's like even something small, like just tell me. Like I won't like try to offend you or anything. Like I just need to know. But I just cannot stand when people are just like, well, why didn't you know that? It's like,
come on, man.
yeah.
Like, yeah, let's be like, the thing is, like, I'm a pretty sensitive person and try to be an empathetic person to other people's needs and like other, things that make people comfortable and whatnot. But at a certain point, like, you have to be realistic, where it's like, dude, if I genuinely have no idea, and if you have your own trauma where it's hard for you to speak up and express those things, that's valid.
Yeah, that's on you.
But it's also it's your
Yeah.
fault though. Like, it's your fault that I don't know it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not, or maybe you want to put that on whoever traumatized you, whatever. But like, either way, like, you can't put that on me if I don't know.
Yeah.
And I would never do that to somebody else, And so I think it's interesting. Or when the hurt people thing is something that, it's super obvious and is talked about a ton. And it's like, I try to do my best to like, when I know people in real life that like a bad thing happens to them, and then they get an attitude and they're rude to this other person in their life, and then now that person's mad at them, and they're like, why am I having so much conflict in my life? And it's like, well, because you took one bad thing that happened to you,
Yeah.
and you said, you know what, fuck this other person's day. I'm gonna make their day bad now, and now they didn't like that. I don't know. Like, let's try to not pass that on, or put our baggage onto other people, or I guess in the analogy I was using, throwing our suitcase to the back of someone's head when they have no idea,
Yeah.
Something I've just been thinking about a lot. And I know another thing I've been thinking about a ton, especially since you mentioned it with the sports psychology, which I want to get back to. You were a college athlete.
Yes.
I played college basketball as well. There is a ton of different, like, unique mental struggles, I will say, in being a college athlete, or even
Yes.
just being an athlete in general. I think whether or not you played collegiately. What about, I guess, college athletes or athletes in general, sports psychology interests you, or is different specifically that you've noticed?
I think sports psych is just so intriguing because it's like I was talking about the environment earlier on, like, oh, this is like what shapes them, or like this is why they think like that. But people don't realize that athletes, like the fans, like that can be a huge thing, or like social media, or like having that mental block of not being able to do your job, basically. Like, I mean, I've had that mental block in volleyball before, like I wasn't able to hit, and I'm a hitter. Like, it's like, it just like affects me so much. And then like, it just seems like there's so much now. It's like, oh, school, oh, working out, oh, I can't lift as much now, like I'm weaker. Like, it's just like there's a whole system that just adds up to that like mental block, and it's like, how do I break it? And like sports psych, like we're there to like help you like talk about it, because like, yes, an athlete can go to a counselor, like, I mean, they're all certified, like all licensed, but it's like not specific to that sport. So like that's become like a huge thing, like especially like after kids graduate. This athlete, went D1, big school, Alabama, and like all they know is sport. Like, it's like people say student athlete, it's really athlete student for like majority of these players.
Yeah, a lot of them, man. They wouldn't have gone to college had it not been for what they were doing athletically.
Yeah, and it's like they get done, they graduate, and like these schools just, I mean, obviously, like they just, okay, bye. Like, next round of kids coming in, and now these people that graduate are like, what do? I don't have a structure. I don't know how to make a structure for myself or organize for myself, because I had people do that for me all the time. And that's like where sports psych come into play. Like, we start like from freshman year, like separating yourself from your sport. And I feel like that's a big thing. I feel like a lot of athletes don't separate themselves from their sport.
Yeah.
And like once I played volleyball at Platteville, got cut, and like I was just like, what do I do? Like I don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. to work out. Oh my God, I don't have to be on this strict diet, or I don't need to like do, like, what do I do? Like, I just felt like basically like I was depressed then. Yeah, I was lost, depressed. Like I was just sitting in my room, not talking to anyone, because all my friends are athletes. Like they're out doing stuff. Now they're gone. And like, who do I talk to? Oh my God, I got to make friends now. Like, it's like a whole thing.
Yeah, it's difficult. I think it's a, I mean, maybe it's not unique to just athletes, but I'm struggling to find something that would be similar to, but it is hard when it's like, it's hard to not wrap your life up in it, like not wrap your identity up in a sport, especially if you're trying to do it at a high level.
Yeah.
Especially then, right? If you do something for fun with your homies and like you just enjoy the like camaraderie and like getting a little sweat worked up, whatever, that's amazing. And I'm jealous of your mindset that you can do that. But if you really want to be like, you know, if you have ideas of wanting to be great, sometimes it's hard to not put like everything you have into it, and it's hard to separate yourself.
It is.
Because it's, how am I not, like whenever I told people what I was doing for the longest time, I was like, oh, I'm a basketball player. Or if a friend that wasn't a athlete or wasn't a basketball player was to introduce me to someone, it's like, yeah, he doesn't look like it. This is a basketball player.
Yeah.
This is my homie Darren. He plays basketball at college, whatever. And like, that's like, it becomes you.
Yeah.
People get you a volleyball for your birthday. You know, you get fucking new clothes for the specific sport every year for Christmas. It becomes, it's hard for you to separate that. I'm sure you've gotten like a fucking birthday cake that's in the shape of whatever ball, you know what I mean? Like that is, it is you, it's tied to like all these core memories. And then you just, one day you're just done. And I know like, it was weird. For me, it was a little interesting because I was playing in college. I was at a 2-year school, and I had been recruited by like another school to go play at a couple other schools to continue at 4-year college. And, I remember like in our last game, we ended up losing a really close game in the playoffs. And I remember like guys in the locker room, like sobbing and like crying. And I was like, I like saw that. I was there for them, and you hug them, embrace them, whatever. But I wasn't super sad because I was like, I got more games left in me. Like, I'm going to keep playing. And then some stuff ended up happening with the coaches. So I ended up declining an offer from one of the schools and going to this other school that was a little bit bigger, D2 school. And the coach waited until I was already enrolled to tell me that he actually wasn't gonna, like I was gonna, he wanted me on the team. Then he over recruited, as they say, and then he was like, we're gonna move you to a walk-on, so you're gonna have to start on like the bench.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, fine, I'll work my way up. And then the week of school, he's like, yeah, actually, like I've already got 15. Yeah. And I'm like, really? Like I go to school here now, bro. Thanks for that. And so I think back sometimes on that locker room at that 2-year school, and like think back to like those guys that were crying, and like I never even got to have that moment of like, it's over, you know, like I was literally at my best. I was just like the MVP of this league, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm moving up. Like I was the all-star. I'm winning all these contests. I'm doing this shit. And then, you know, you get cut down. And it's just, you're done.
Yeah, and
I was just a regular person after that.
A NARP.
Yeah, NARP, as you say. Yeah, yes, the new slur that you've created. That's amazing.
It's just like these coaches, like I understand, like, you know, you're in college, you're 18 to 24, 25, whatever the case may be, but it's like our minds are not fully developed. Like we're still like immature in a way. And it's just like these coaches just think like we're like grown adults, and like the way that they're just like, you know, all I see you as an athlete. Like that's like how a lot of these schools are, and like a lot of these colleges, like they're just like, I see you as an athlete only. Like grades don't matter. What you're doing on your major don't matter. As long as you're doing good in your sport, that's what matters. As long as you're lifting good in your sport, that's what like. And it's just like that's like where the
Where's Coach Carter at, bro? We
need
some Coach Carters
I know,
up in
right?
here. Making kids say, what did they have to have in that movie?
What,
like
2.3?
2.3, and everybody was pissed.
Yeah,
dude.
like,
people
what?
were gonna burn the city down.
I wish.
Yeah. No, it's totally though. That's a real thing where they see you as that thing first, and it's interesting too, the kind of power from youth sports, I think, all the way up through college and professional. Maybe not as much in professional. I think the players have more say then, but like coaches have a lot of power too.
They do.
And the thing that you forget, or I think a lot of people forget, is like that, like when you're 22, right, and you're being coached by someone who's in their 30s or 40s or whatever, like that's a grown person with their own traumas and own undealt with shit. And like, they also have their own issues. So they're not some perfect, but you kind of look at them as they are, almost like a parent figure, right?
Yeah.
And so, but they're still putting their shit on you, you know. Like I don't know. I've had my fair share of terrible coaches. I've had a few good ones that I really love, but a terrible coach can really mess you up. And we talked a little bit earlier on the performance anxiety thing. There's a lot of things. There's a thing on TikTok right now when it comes to like hoopers, where it's like there's a lot of guys that can't score in a real game.
Yeah.
And they go play pickup, and they're playing with like semi-pro players, and they're scoring fucking 20 points against like people that played professionally, but they just freeze up in the game because the coach, they weren't the guy the coach picked, so the coach had someone else start over them, so now they're all shaken up, and they finally get subbed in, and they touch the ball, and everything feels heavy, and their body doesn't move right, and it's like people don't understand that it's a real thing. I have friends that were really crushed by that in college. One of my buddies was like a beast athlete, like 6'4" dude, like a guard, could like rim graze, shoot, everything. We get in the games, dude, and he's supposed to be a second option, and he was gone. Like he was barely getting a few points a game, and I'm like, dude, what's happening? But he's fighting his own battles, in his head.
Yeah.
But yeah, the performance anxiety is a real thing. Did you ever struggle with performance anxiety?
I definitely did. I played for this volleyball club in Illinois, Sports Performance, Spry or Die, baby.
Okay.
But it was basically like a boot camp, like a military boot camp. Like you went to Spry to play college volleyball.
Nice.
So everyone, there was about 8 teams per age, even down to like 10U.
Yeah.
So that gym was huge. Everyone was there for one goal, college volleyball. And like, I remember I had this coach, loved her, and I loved her. She passed away. But like, I loved her as a person, but not as a coach. Like my parents called it practice players. So like, you're so good in practice, but like when you're in a game, you just like, you can't do anything.
Know a lot of those guys, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like every time, like, I didn't want to disappoint her. I think that's like a big thing in athletes. You don't want to disappoint your coach. Like you're with your teammates.
Yeah.
You're with these people all day, every day. You see that, everything about them basically, because you're with them all day, every weekend, like every day, like after school.
Long bus rides, yeah.
Yeah, like you're taking planes with them. You're staying in hotels with them. Like these people, and like it's like when I mess up. Like, I remember it was this one game, and I messed up, and I just couldn't do anything after that. Like, I just saw the look of disappointment on my coach's face, and, like, my teammates were just, like, not – obviously, we're girls. We get irritated at each other. But, like, it wasn't, like, after the game, we all talked, like, ha. But it was, like, in that moment, like, all I saw was, like, irritation from everyone. And it's, like, after that, I couldn't do anything anymore. Like, I couldn't hit. I couldn't pass, nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that it's hard because it's like, mental toughness is a huge part in all sports, right? But there's also like, depending on the environment you're in, mental toughness can only carry you so far, especially if it's a toxic environment. Like I played for coaches where, and I've joked about this on the podcast before, I was probably the best player on this team, and we had a coach that would bring us in before the season, and he would have a packet with everybody's name on it, and it was like a small write-up on what your role was expected to be for the season. And it would usually, the starters would have much bigger paragraphs, and then as you would kind of get down to the 15th guy, it would get a little bit smaller. And I just remember, like, specifically, and I don't know how anybody's supposed to play with this, I got to mine, and it was I was given a 2-dribble limit on offense. I was expected to hustle and play good defense and to pass first, not shoot. And I was like, I just don't know at first, and I was not a bum. That makes me sound like a scrub, dude. I was not a fucking bum, first off. And secondly, it's like, even if that was somebody's genuine role, how stupid is that to put somebody in a box in a team sport where like things are kind of free flowing? It's not baseball. Like baseball, you're pitcher, you pitch. You're first baseman, you're first base. That makes a little bit more sense. Even in volleyball, you're doing a few different positions. You're doing different things. It just like you get in a game, like I had friends that had similar write-ups or whatever, and they would get in a game and they would freeze up. I didn't give a fuck. I was like, I'm not listening to that shit. That is dumb as shit. I'm barely gonna play. When I do play, I'm gonna do what I need to do. But I had friends that like they'd get in and they would like literally, this is no joke. One of the guys had a two dribble limit, which is again the stupidest thing I've ever heard. He gets the ball like we're breaking a press, and I don't know, you've played basketball, I imagine. So we're breaking a press. He catches the ball at half court. They're counting to there's a back court, and he took his 2 dribbles and he stopped and he froze, and he could have just kept dribbling straight down. He froze and he's looking for someone to give the ball to. He has no idea what to do, and he's like looking for the good player that's allowed to dribble. And I'm like, how do we not think that that's fucking brain dead?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not. And what does that do to like a 14, 15, 16-year-old kid that has aspirations to play this sport? You know, and obviously not everybody's going to make it. There's a lot of kids that think they can play college basketball and they can't.
Yeah.
And that's totally valid too. I'm not envious of the job that youth coaches or even college coaches have, because that's super difficult to manage, you know, prepubescent kids or kids going through puberty, and their emotions, and also like their hopes and dreams. And like at a certain point you do have to be realistic and be like, these are the 5 best guys. But a lot of coaches just get it flat wrong. Like, they just have their own shit going on.
Oh yeah.
And that plays into shit. Or like, I don't know. It's a difficult job. I couldn't do it. I don't think I could do it. I've been offered to coach a few times, and I've turned it down every time, because I would never want to crush a kid like that.
Yes, I am a coach.
It's just, that's hard. How do you juggle it? How do you, because you, at a certain point, you have to go, hey, Jessica, you're just not as good as Sabrina. Sabrina's going to start. You'll come in if she needs a break.
Yeah, so I've been a high school coach for 4 years now.
Okay.
And I'm on my 2nd year as head coach at a school a little bit closer here. And when I first started, I was like, I was 21.
Okay.
And these girls are like 17, 16, so I'm like 4 or 5 years older than them. Yeah. And at first they're like, why should we listen to you? And I'm like, facts. That's true though. I understand that. But then I think after like we obviously started like seeing each other more, they like started respecting me more. And I think it's a fine line, because these girls, they're girls in high school. Sure. They're already emotional as it is. Okay, so it's like one little thing I say, it would be just instant tears. And I like to win. I don't like to lose. Yeah. And I tell my girls that from the beginning. Like, I like to win, but obviously I'm going to, put you guys in as much as I can. But like, basically, like, you guys have, like, if you want to play this sport, if you want to be like, a team, like a team player, and like, it's just not even like, I didn't play today, so I'm not a part of a team. Like, no. Like, I don't think people realize, like even bench warmers, as they say, like the celebration and everything. So like, I think it was my 2nd year coaching at a different school, and this girl asked me like, why am I not playing? That was the first time I ever got that question. I was like 19 at the time. And I
respect the player doing that.
Yes. I said, I wanted to be like, let me think on that one, but I couldn't, because it was right on the spot, and her mom was like in the corner looking at me. And I was just like, well, sometimes in life, like, there's someone that's always going to be better than you.
Damn. That's terrible advice.
But it wasn't like, it was more nicer. It was just like, sometimes like if you want to be like, you're not going to be the best at everything you do right away.
Yeah.
Like, if you work at it, this is what you want to do, like, if I will, like, obviously, like, do private trainings with you. Like, if this is something you want to do, if you want to beat that girl out and, like, to be a DS or libero, then you need to work for it. Like, you're not just going to get it handed to you. Yeah. And I think after that, like, she really thought about it, and she's like, I do want to play over her. Like, that's the mentality she had for the rest of the season.
What did she get better at? What was she not? What skills was she lacking?
It was just confidence. That's all it was.
Really?
Yes.
Damn.
She, like, volleyball is a very mental sport. That's what they say since we were young. Volleyball is mental. If you think about your last mistake, 5 points later, like, these girls in high school think about those mistakes. Like, they mess up one time. It could be 0-0 and they mess up.
That's one thing. That's what, a lot of people they roll their eyes and they kind of like make fun of me. Sports always make their way into the podcast whenever I'm talking with people about things. That's something that I think is one of the biggest takeaways from sports that goes into real life, is like having a next play mentality and being able to, like, okay, this really bad thing happened to me, or this really bad thing happened to a friend of mine, or whatever. Being able to, like, again, I could put that on other people now. I could dig my hole deeper, or I could just go, all right, they're getting ready to serve. Let me just not fuck up this time.
And like, she just lacked confidence. Like, she was a great athlete. She was fast. She, like, her platform and everything was perfect. It was just that confidence.
Damn, so why was you benching her then,
I know,
Coach?
right?
What the fuck are we doing?
Because she would mess up once, and then after that one mess up, next 25 points, she's messing up every single time.
Did you ever tell her, like, hey, you're good. You're good.
I do.
You're fine.
And, like, the players, you know, parents, myself, but like it's like in that moment when like everyone, like it's only 6 people on the court.
Yeah.
And especially in volleyball, like I tell my girls, if I see a passer struggling, I tell them to serve at them every single time to make them like think that.
Oh yeah. No,
every single time.
Here's the thing.
And,
I'm just like you. It sounds like I'm as sweet as I can be to people that are on my team or in my life. We're playing against people.
Oh yeah,
I'm probably one of the most evil people on the planet. Like I probably said the most terrible things
I'm not
about
evil
you.
Now.
Oh no, I'm so evil, dude. I'm like genuinely like if I see a bad leg, like we're going at that leg every time. I'm telling people we're rip pivoting, we're going right at his left leg. I can see his left ankle's fucked up. Every single time we're going ISO, you're getting a switch. You're going right at his left leg every time.
Oh yeah, that's what I would tell my girls. I'm like, she's limping right now. They're not about to set her. Like, so don't even literally don't even mind her.
Yeah.
Because right now mentally, they're high school girls. Like mentally, she's thinking about that foot that whole entire time. And like that's how I was. Yeah. Like when I got injured, especially my ankle, all I thought about every single time I jumped was, when I come down, my ankle is just about to break on me. So like I couldn't, I didn't want to jump. Like I was too scared to jump. And like I told that girl, like, obviously, I don't want to tell high school girls, like, you lack confidence. Like, you're not good. Or, like, you don't have the confidence in yourself.
How do you tell them something hard like that? Because you have to, right?
Yes. But I do it in a way of, like, I work around it a little bit. Like, I don't say confidence as much. I just say, think about, like, when you're, that last point you just did. Think about, like, what you did in that last point. And they'll tell me a whole list. And then I'm like, okay, think about what are you going to do for the next point? Like, that's what you just need to think about. Like, how I tell my girls, be better. That's what I learned. Be better. Like, don't think about that last point, because that last point is what's going to get taken out the game, because now you're going to think about it for 25 more points. Yeah. And I just tell my girls, think, like, there's 25 points. Like, you messed up. Okay, that's what volleyball is. Someone has to mess up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that kind of your philosophy on how do you discipline somebody then, if with riding this fine line, right? Because it's like we were talking earlier about sometimes you had these coaches that were maybe hard asses that, you know, you make a mistake, it's like, oh, that's it, you know, pulling you out, whatever. How do you discipline somebody in a way that's constructive as opposed to destructive? Because that's something that I think a lot of people outside of sports don't really know how to do, but as well as there's plenty of coaches that get that wrong. Yeah,
I think in the beginning of the season, I talk to each girl individually, and I tell them, how do you want criticism? Because whatever you say to me is what I have to do to you, because that's how you're going to receive it. Like, if you're a girl who, like, I can't be yelled at, coach. If I yell at you, you're just going to cry and you're not going to care. You're not going to want to do anything. You're not going to try to, like, be better. Like, you're not going to try to work harder, because you just feel like now, like, every time I look at you, I'm just going to get yelled at. But for girls that, like, want to be yelled at, like me, if you talk to me like, okay, Amarian, like, you got it, I would just be like, okay. Like, I needed to be yelled at. I needed to, like, have that motivation. So I talked to each girl individually. How do you want to be trained? What do you need from me? And a lot of my girls just said, like, once you say it once, like, to fix this, I will. Like, I'm thinking about how can I fix it now? And I let them, like, for the girls that mess up, like, if a girl mess up and I know if I say, hey, this is what you need to do, I know I have to wait 2 to 3 points for her to, like, think about that. Okay, I know I need to do it this. Like, she needs that time for herself. And volleyball is such a fast-paced game, you don't get that time. So, like, that's why, like, if I look at one of my girls, like a passer who's not doing the best, I see that confidence in them is lacking for, even if it's 1 point, I pull them back just a little bit. Like, I pull them behind someone else just for 1 point. Yeah. And I, like, look at them and I'm like, that next point, you're going to be passed. She's going to serve it to you, and you need to pass that ball up. Yeah. And when they do, like, that point, that ball comes to them, they pass it up, and they perfect pass. They're just like, they look at me like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, I know, right? It's great. Yeah. Like, isn't it amazing? You have confidence in yourself. And, like, or I talk to, like, especially like my older kids, like when I see like one of my younger kids in the back row with them, I tell my older kids, like, take that ball away from her. Obviously, I'm not trying to tell that girl, like, hey, you're doing a terrible job. So, no, I just tell my best passer, like, take that ball away from her just for this 1 point. Yeah. So she can get that confidence back in herself.
Do you have a good, like, disappointed, like, death stare? Like,
I do.
Let's say I was, let's say I was fucking up. Let's say I was really messing up, right? Let's say I can't serve the ball over the net. I'm scrubbing. I'm ruining this for the whole squad. But I'm like a starter. You rely on me. Give me the stink eye, right? I'm gonna
wait. I have to think about it now, because it's not like
get mad, get in the zone.
It's not like a stink eye. It's just like it's just like, really, what are we doing right now?
Yeah, that hurts, man. That
It
look from a coach
does.
hurts. That hurts.
Because it's like, what are we doing right now? And like
Yeah.
my starters know I'm not afraid to pull them. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I don't know. I've thought a lot about coaching. I just don't. I don't want to do
You
it.
should. I feel like
No.
you'd be great.
No, I don't want to. I'd have to. The kids and their parents would have to sign waivers. I'd be like, I'm gonna mold these people into like good people, and then we're gonna be also good at the sport. But
We're gonna be great.
I'm not gonna. I just don't think I could deal with I couldn't deal with kids being douchebags.
Yeah, once you like, it's even like I can't even coach like little girls because like the attitude on them. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
No, and I'm still too good. That's the other thing too. Like I'm not gonna talk some shit, but I'm pretty solid still. So like I couldn't stand like being there and like telling somebody to do something and then they just like physically can't do it or they fuck
That's
up.
hard
Like,
sometimes.
I would be like, who the fuck? And I'm just going. I'm like, this is how, and then I'm like shouldering a 16-year-old on
Yeah.
the floor. Like I don't want to be that guy.
That is hard sometimes. I have a lot of like deep breath moments.
Yeah.
I bring my iPad to practice for like practice plans. I go on it for a second. Like,
Yeah. You ever broke a clipboard?
I haven't. I almost broke my iPad one time. Like I slammed it down. I was so sad. I was like, oh my God, my iPad.
Yeah. I had a coach that he would break clipboards all the time. He threw a chair.
No,
one
I
time.
wouldn't do.
It was
My
cool.
girls knew if I sit down. Like I'm not a stand-up coach. Because my girls know my looks. They know what they need to be doing. So all that standing, too much effort.
Yeah.
So I'll sit down. My girls know once I stand up, they're like, okay. They all like straighten up. They're like, okay, guys, let's get it together.
Dude, communication sports is crazy. And it's funny you mentioned like some people like to be talked to a certain way, and I think that's good that that seems like a constructive way to talk with kids about criticism. Is like, hey, come to me, tell me how you want to be, and I'm gonna do that to you.
Yeah.
But when I do that though, you're gonna
yeah,
have to do
you
it
need
then,
to
right?
take
You're
it
gonna have to
then.
take it. I have friends that I still play with in competitive leagues, and they get in their own head, and those are guys that you can't. I'm a big person on like positives. Like I never say anything negative to my teammates during like active play. We go to a timeout. I'll be like, hey man, I think you need to do it. I'm still way too positive probably, but like you take the dumbest shot ever with 3 people on you, I'm still gonna go, good shot, Marion. That's good. Like
Really?
as we're going down, as we're going down,
you.
I'm gonna be like, hey man, you got it next time. You got it. Hold your follow through. I'm gonna find something positive to say every single time up and down the floor. We get off the court or we're in film session. I'm gonna be like, Marion, you shoot that shit again when the best shooter is wide open. You have 3 people on you. What are we doing, man? Come on. And but it's like, but I don't. My thing is like, I don't ever think anything good comes out of someone makes a mistake and you dog on them in a game.
Oh, it doesn't.
Right? It's like the same thing if in life, if like you and a coworker are getting shit on by a boss and then you just like turn and be like, oh, it's them. It's this guy. Da, da, da. It's like that doesn't. We're a team. We're trying to get through it. So if my guy is he's throwing bricks up all game, and I go, stop shooting the fucking ball, idiot. That doesn't help him make the next one, right? So it's like, yeah, maybe he needs to shoot. I'm just gonna be like, hey man, find so and so. Hey, let me set you a screen. Hey, let me whatever. Like you gotta find something to. If your goal is everybody succeed, if you just want to break people down, then sure, be a monster. I play with a lot of guys like that, teammates or team captains that were just mentally the weakest people I've ever met in my life. I've met coaches and played for coaches that were just sorry excuses for leaders as well. Like that's the kind of shit that they do, is tear people down, is try to like scare people into playing better. I'm not into that. Now don't get me wrong, again, that's why I can't coach, because I do think I would be pissed if I had some punk kids and they were like showing up late to practice and shit. Like if they were showing up drunk or late to practice or whatever, you guys will be running until you're thrown up, that's for sure. I wouldn't put up with that stuff. But in a game, like if you make a genuine mistake, like you set a screen wrong, or you foul somebody when you were supposed to foul, or you miss a shot that I know you can make, I can't. That is not the kind of stuff that anybody should be getting mad about. And coaches will sit here and they would sit here and like nod their head with me and go, yeah, I don't get mad about that. And then they would.
Like I don't get mad about stuff like that. I'm more of like the attitude. Me and attitude are not like I don't like it. Like if you mess up, you should not be giving attitude to your teammates at all.
Dude, yes.
That's what I think about.
Yeah, I had to tell a grown man like 3 or 4 weeks ago that like he was upset because a guy was struggling on our team, and he was upset that he thought he was open on this like fast break, and this guy ended up taking a shot. Maybe it wasn't a great shot, and he missed it. The guy just threw his hands up and he's like putting his head down and didn't get back on defense. And I pulled him aside. I'm like, hey, dude, you're a grown-ass man. He's a grown-ass man. If you want him to pass you the ball,
just say it.
Ask him to pass you the fucking ball. And if he doesn't do it and he takes a dumbass shot like that, then you say, hey, man, I'm open next time. Get it to me. Why did you not get back on defense now? Like, what are we doing? We're going to sulk and we're going to make it worse. And, like, the attitude thing, like you're saying, like, having a bad attitude, I don't want to play with you. Like, I just don't want to play with you. And it's like nobody plays better when you have some diva monster that's just throwing a fit because somebody else isn't playing as good as they think they're playing.
Yeah, and
So dumb.
girls are so much worse. Like, girls will take that
I don't know.
attitude. Once they see what attitude thrown in, like, the game, oh, next 3
Everything's
hours.
personal.
Everything's personal. Now we're in the locker room. They're giving attitude back.
What's
Like,
the,
it's
okay,
so
we talked a
much.
little bit about triggers earlier. What will trigger some attitude in girls' sports? Because I'll tell you what triggers attitude in men's sports after.
What? I don't even know. Let's see.
There's no fighting words. Like, what's something that could quickly turn shit into, like, we're getting in people's faces. We're talking shit.
I think it's just like the looks. Like, it's that. Like, I think that's like the triggers thing for them.
Really?
Like the looks.
Why
like
is that what you do? That you said you like to do looks.
Okay,
You said you don't
I'm
like
different.
to talk.
I'm the coach. It doesn't matter. Like, I
Okay,
can
sure,
do it. But like
sure.
my girls, like they'll stop talking to each other. Like, if one of them is mad at another, they just won't talk to each other on the court. And I'm like,
that's
there's
so
only
dumb.
6 of you. Like,
Yeah.
you have to talk.
That's dumb.
Or
man.
like they'll personally make it their mission to take everything from that person. They would do everything in their power to take that ball from that person.
Yeah.
And it's just like I said, girls they take everything personal. So it's like, oh, I gave you a look. Now we're talking about something 2 weeks ago that you're mad about her. Like, why are we doing this right now?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, if you're ever playing pickup basketball, especially in the men's league, you call somebody a bitch. That's it. And that's the thing for me, that word doesn't mean a whole lot to me.
Yeah.
Like, if someone were to call me, I would laugh. But I remember we were playing recently. I was playing a league, and I was wearing those Fortnite shorts I told you about earlier. And people don't really like that. Especially, I don't really look like a basketball player. So like 5'10" white dude with a man bun and Fortnite shorts on. I think at this point I have like 39. Like, we're smoking, and I'm smoking this team. It's a competitive game, but we're up, and I'm scoring. I end up with like 40 some points. But in the middle of this guy is like talking. I hit a 3, and he's in my face, like full court pressing me. He's probably like got to be like 5-6 years older than me. Grown ass man, breathing down my neck, like 2 hands shoving me, because he's like mad that I'm wearing these Fortnite shorts and I made a shot. And he literally said, he's like, he's not getting anything else. Like, this shit weak. He's fucking white boy wearing blah, blah. I'm like, okay, fine, man. And so then like I come down the court and he's grabbing me, throw his hand off, little sidestep, hit a shot. I'm a bitch. It's not okay to do that. You can't do it. He literally sprinted up and tried to tackle me immediately after that. So you can't do that. But I've seen it other ways too, where I've had teammates of mine, like somebody calls him a bitch and then immediately he's getting teed up. And I'm like, why? Why does that word have so much power over us guys? But it does. You go on a basketball court, you call anybody a bitch. Like, you mean it though. It's got to be like,
you gotta mean it. You gotta give a hard.
They will lose their shit, bro. I've seen guys like risk going back to jail because of it. Like, we're playing pickup. I'm like, dude, you're good, man. I was like, we've won the last 10 games. Let him call you a bitch. We're fine, But people, I don't know. People can't stand it. Well, we've touched on a lot. We touched on a lot with the mental health. We touched on the athletic side of things. What we haven't touched on?
What?
Cream pies.
Cream pies?
Do you like cream pies?
I don't like cream pies. I'm not a big dessert person.
We got some cream pies here.
No.
Really? You won't try them? These are brand new.
I don't like cream pies.
This is a nutty, buddy, soft baked cream pie. You're going to go on record and not try a cream pie right now.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm going to try a cream pie.
Absolutely.
Do you have any questions for me while I eat this cream
While
pie?
you eat this cream pie?
Yeah, because this is what we do on the show sometimes. We try food. We try dumb food. I saw this on TikTok. And
Did you get it from TikTok Shop?
No, I didn't. The homies picked it up, and it's here now. You sure? Look at this.
No, I don't like. I'm not a big dessert person.
I'm going to open it up. I'm going to have you smell it. And you're going to tell us what it smells like at least. Because you got to help with this. This is ASMR.
Okay.
People come tune in the show sometimes just for this. Come on, bro.
Okay,
Smell that.
I'll see. Oh.
Have you ever had a Nutter Butter? Like a...
I do. Oh, it smells like a Nutter Butter.
That's what it is. But it's a
Oh.
cream pie version.
Yeah, but what's the filling inside?
I don't know. We're going to find out. Why don't you try some? Take a piece. If you hate it, you can spit it out. No one's going to be mad. Even though that's really not how cream pies are supposed to work, but
I'm concerned. No.
Okay, give me it back. I'll try it. We'll try it at the same time. Okay.
Oh, I was about to
You're just gonna go for it. You're just gonna go for it. Okay, I'm gonna pull this out, dude. It feels like a Nutter Butter.
Yeah, it does. I'm scared.
Why? Oh, I'm a little nervous about the filling. I don't know what the filling is. Okay. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, I could have lived without it. Not good. It's too soft.
Yeah, it's weird. Oh, that texture is not for me right now.
It's not bad.
It just tastes like a Nutter Butter, but
less good because I like the crunch of a
I love
Nutter
the
Butter.
crunch.
Yeah. It's just a mediocre Nutter Butter.
It is.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was kind of sad.
Yeah, I'm gonna try one more bite though because I do like Nutter Butters and I'm starving. So. That helps. Here in studio audience, you guys want to try it. Excellent. Well, what else do we need to get to today before we wrap? Is there anything that we didn't touch on? I mean, I guess I should be. People get mad sometimes I do food reviews and I'm not descriptive. So let me be descriptive for a second. It's a flaccid Nutter Butter. Wouldn't recommend it. Not bad. If someone offers you one on a podcast, I would try it. But it's not great. That's my. I would give it a 6 out of 10. 6.5 out of 10.
I was thinking 4 or
Really?
3.
It's not bad. The taste-wise, it's not bad.
Yeah, just the texture is very weird right now.
I guess that's fair.
I don't know how I feel.
Is there anything aside from cream pies that we didn't get to?
I don't think so. Oh, I did bring you something.
Oh, okay.
I did.
Wait, what is this? Look at look at that. Thank you. We got a big thank you for supporting my small business. Look at that. Is this some Simple Soulz?
Yes, it
reppin'?
is. It's unreleased right now.
There's some
we'll
unreleased
be
shit,
releasing
bro.
tomorrow morning, though.
Oh, okay. Excellent. So you guys will see it's actually linked down below is her Instagram. So you'll be able to check out. This will be available tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow.
This will be available tomorrow. If people are Spotify listeners, if you're listening, go check it out today. Your only competition is you. You versus you, dude. I love that. Oh, we got a design on the back too. You versus you. My guy Big Ty would love that for sure. That's excellent. That's awesome. Thank you so much for that. It's a nice thick crew neck too. I love it, dude. Thank you so much, dude. That's legit. So this is brand new. This is coming out tomorrow.
Yes, it is.
What's it? Why you versus you? Why did that stick out to you?
I think I was talking to one of my friends one day, and he has his own like business photography, and
I'm
we
gonna
were
cut
just
you off real quick. Look at this tag, too. Look at this. They got their own tag on there. That's beautiful. That's excellent. Okay, continue.
So we were just talking about like how, with businesses you like to share a lot, and like if you share so much, like it never happens. And he was just talking about how like he feels like it's himself that's like stopping him from like doing more, like social media and like going out in like his field and like asking random people, like doing way more for himself. So it was like him stopping him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he said that. I think it was just like, yeah, I just feel like I'm stopping myself. And I was just like, huh.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, you versus you. It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure you can relate to that as an athlete. As an athlete, as someone pursuing a degree. When you were studying, like really a lot of our stuff, and there's so much of it. So much of where we start, I feel like it is out of our control when it comes to like our environment and like how we were raised, all these traumas that maybe get tossed onto us.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there is still we still do have a choice, right? It's you versus you. Like how hard are you gonna go on this church? How hard are you gonna go with the apparel? How hard are you gonna go? Do you really want this degree? Because some people want to go to college. They go to college and then they just don't take it seriously. They fail classes or they fuck around and they drop out. Like, and I'm not saying they're a bad person or anything, but they're losing that fight with themselves. Because what they told me or you is, hey, I want this degree. Hey, I want to start my own business, or I want to be successful in my business. And at the end of the day, like, you're the only one that can get you out of bed.
Really? Yeah.
I could throw you out of bed, but that's not going to stop you from going back to
Chuck
sleep on the floor. You might just sleep on the floor after that. I don't know. Excellent. No, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
No,
first off, do you have any other questions or anything else you want to get out to the people listening to the show?
No, just how many Legos in this room do you think you have? Like how much would it all cost together?
Oh, all cost together?
Yeah.
We're probably talking maybe over 10.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, not by a lot, but probably close to 10. Probably just maybe like hitting 10. Especially now because the thing is a lot of these are expensive sets.
Yeah.
And they're still in the box. And a lot of them are retired now. Because I don't know if you know that about Lego. Like Lego is the only market where nothing depreciates. Like everything appreciates. So like you could literally, like it's safer to buy Lego sets that came out this year and just wait for the 2 or 3 years for them to retire the set. Like you will be guaranteed that it will be worth more than it would be to like put your money in a Roth IRA. Like it has never in the history of Lego existing, they have never like lost value in unopened sets, which is crazy. I don't purposely want them to be unopened. I would like to build them. I just don't have the time. But yeah, so it is probably worth a lot right now.
Wow.
So don't rob me, and no one Please let's not DOS or dox my location because people will fuck me up. But yeah, no, I love Legos. I love Legos. Do you have Legos?
I don't, but I do want the rose. No, I want the
succulents.
No, the Jordans.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I really want one.
Yeah, they do. I don't think the Jordans are officially licensed.
Oh.
But they have Adidas that are right now. But I think they're working on the Travis Scott.
Oh, really?
Jordans. Yeah, I think they're working on a deal for that. Yeah, it's big. Legos are huge. You got to get with it. Get with it. I do. Dude. Start buying Legos. You said you're a hobbyist. It's an expensive hobby to have. I'll say that.
I know. My fiance, if you're watching, please buy me a Lego for my birthday this Friday.
You guys could build some Legos together.
We could.
They're fun. They make a lot of the sets now. They do like a whole 18 and up line.
I've seen that before.
And a lot of them they do for people to build together. So like you'll get the instructions. Typically a Lego set would work like you would open it up, you just read from step 1 to whatever. Now they'll like split it up where they'll have like, it'll be for like a 2-person set. So it'll be like, oh, you take bags 2 and 4 and you take instruction booklet 2. I get bags 1 and 2 and I get instruction booklet 1, and then we would like both build it and then we put it together at the end. So it's kind of fun. You can parallel play that way.
Cool. Yeah, we're not the building things.
No.
We tried to do a puzzle one time.
Well, yeah. Legos is a little easier, I think, than a puzzle. It's you follow it step by step, but that's cool. Shout out to the, you said fiance?
Yes.
Shout out to, when are you guys getting married?
September 12th. Next year.
Whoa, let's go. Of next year, not this.
No, not this year.
Okay, we got a little time.
We got some time.
Okay. Time to get a Lego set going.
Yes.
Yes, excellent. Well, thank you for doing the show. I appreciate
you having me.
Coming on, giving us your time, and answering some of my dumb questions. So I appreciate that. I want to say a quick shout out to everybody who tuned in live today, as well as people that are listening days after over on Spotify or here on YouTube. Don't forget you can check out her stuff linked down below. We've got a whole bunch of other stuff, including our sponsorship and our patrons. If you guys are interested in getting behind-the-scenes access to extra podcasts, extra videos, as well as a series where I break down, I mix, master, write, record every single one of my songs, go to patreon.com/Darren Rita. You can help support the channel for as little as $1. You also get shouted out at the end of every episode like that. So shout out to those guys. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Also want to say a quick shout out to Alpine House 2 for sponsoring another episode of the show. That's at Alpine House 2 on Instagram. Check them out. Take a little vacay and treat yourself. With all that stuff being said,